Hey guys, Nuan here with Movie Snigger Reviews. Today we're gonna talk about Brightburn, a superhero horror movie directed by David Yarovesky. The story takes place in Brightburn, Kansas, where a spaceship crash lands near a farm. Tori and Kyle, who live at the farm, discover a baby boy in the crashed ship and decide to adopt him. 12 years later, the boy Brandon starts discovering that he has superpowers, and he is mysteriously drawn to the spaceship which his parents are hiding under the barn. So basically it's Smallville, but unlike Clark Kent, who holds back from using his powers, young Brandon begins to give in to his urges and starts punishing the people who get in his way. Let's start with the performances. Elizabeth Banks, who plays Tori, the adoptive mother of Brandon, is really good here. She's very protective of him, and she did a good job portraying that sense of denial a mother initially has when people accuse their kids of doing something bad. As Brandon goes around hurting people, there's a sheriff that's investigating and following the clues. There's family members and people in the town who notice Brandon is acting strange. Even Tori's husband Kyle starts suspecting Brandon after seeing weird stuff happening around the farm. Some of their arguments where they freak out and try to figure out what's happening are very interesting and really adds a bit of dramatic tension. Tori is the one who has the strongest connection to Brandon, and so you're really rooting for her to figure out how to deal with this situation and maybe convince Brandon to stop. I like the mother-son moments between them, and it's interesting how the music during those scenes is very reminiscent of the Man of Steel theme by Hans Zimmer. Especially the slow piano part, it's almost the same but not quite. Jackson A. Dunn, who plays Brandon, did a decent job. He looks just creepy enough to fit the role, and I do like his costume, especially the mask, which has a Cthulhu vibe to it, and the symbol he leaves around to sign his evil handiwork like a calling card. Everybody is calling Brightburn the what-if story of Superman going bad, and that's exactly what it is. Everything you expect from that premise, including the superpowers, the spaceship, and even his weakness, is there, but it doesn't offer anything more than that. It's as simple as think of what Clark Kent would do and then do the exact opposite. So basically it's Clark Kent on red kryptonite, but just bloodier and gorier. Speaking of blood and gore, there's lots of that here. The scenes where Brandon is stalking people are shot and edited really well. There's a scene at a diner where the audience sees from the point of view of somebody who has blood dripping into their eye. So it's almost like a found footage type of thing with blood on the camera lens. So visually, it was very interesting to look at. There are moments where you see a shot of Brandon's feet floating above the ground while he's stalking someone, and it looks like they were trying to mimic a demonic possession scenario. Now, I'm not a horror movie expert, and in fact, I get scared pretty easily, but unlike The Conjuring, which has similar imagery, I didn't find Brightburn to be scary, and that's kind of disappointing when it's marketed as a horror movie. And since Brightburn has a very serious tone, it doesn't have that fun vibe which made the Michael Myers killing sequences so damn entertaining to watch in the new Halloween movie. I'm also not a big fan of the ending. It's not a bad ending, it's just that I was rooting for this character. I'm not gonna say who, but I was rooting for this character to do something and they failed to do that. I'm sure some people will love the ending, but I would have liked to see things conclude a little differently. Conclusion: Jackson A. Dunn was good and Elizabeth Banks gives a really strong performance. There's an interesting bit of foreshadowing they give early on during this classroom scene. The teacher asks Brandon the difference between bees and wasps, and Brandon's answer basically explains his motivation, but I also felt like they gave away way too much of the plot here. So after that, there's nothing this movie did that really surprised me. So I wish they revealed that wasp thing at the end, because it would have tied up really well with the end credit scene. I really like the end credit scene, and it hints at new possibilities for sequels. Although I'm not that interested in a sequel. I mean, who would I even root for? I think superhero fans will find the premise of Brightburn interesting, although it doesn't really go beyond that. There's some nice bloody death scenes, but I think horror fans will want something scarier. So I'm gonna give Brightburn a 6.5 out of 10. It's a well-made supervillain origin story with some Superman symbolism mixed into it. It's a solid movie, but you don't need to rush out to see this in theaters. I recommend waiting for the Blu-ray or stream it online when it becomes available. So there you go. Have you watched Brightburn and what did you think about it? Please leave your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. Movie Slinger out.